Hello there, everybody, and welcome back to the Objectively Bad podcast. I hope you're feeling fantastic. That was a big pause.
Because of the movie.
It is, yeah. Say that again.
Yeah, sorry, audio listeners, for just silence.
Welcome back. My name's Dan. His name's Chad, and today we're talking about Fantastic Four, the new movie. So if you haven't seen it, turn this off. Is all I'm going to say.
Yeah, because it is all we're going to talk about, and we will spoil it.
Almost entirely.
Almost entirely. Just go watch the movie.
Still out.
Go watch the movie. It's still out.
Yes, though.
I mean, it might not be. You could be listening to this in a year.
That's a very good point. In which case, it will be
so
on
I guess
Disney
it
Plus.
might not be. Then it'll be on Disney Plus. So either way, just go watch it.
Yeah. That's your warning. Everyone dies. Sue dies.
Yeah,
Reed dies. The baby dies. Everyone dies.
The baby dies.
Who was it that did that?
It's all dead.
Was it Anthony Mackie who did that for Avengers, or was it?
Yeah, I think it was Anthony Mackie, where he's like, I think there was a thing with Black Panther. He's like,
was it Paul Rudd?
I thought it was Anthony Mackie. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I know
They're
someone.
Like, what's up? He's like, we all die.
I feel like it's Paul Rudd now that I'm thinking about it. Avengers.
It could have been.
Everyone dies. Spoiler.
I also know there was one where
sorry. Like, it's Mark Ruffalo. It's Mark Ruffalo.
Oh yeah, it is Mark Ruffalo.
And it's with Bucky. Not Bucky. What the fuck is his name? Don Cheadle.
Yes.
Sorry. If you don't know the clip, basically before Infinity War came out, they did an interview with Don Cheadle, Mark Ruffalo, and Mark's like, everyone dies. Which like is a big spoiler technically.
Yeah.
It's quite funny.
I think most people were like, "Oh, ha ha ha."
He's joking.
You know, obviously. Well,
but like because of Don Cheadle's reaction being like, "Dude," they were like, "Oh, he wasn't joking."
Yeah.
Funny thing.
Gotta do what you gotta do, I guess.
But yeah.
Fantastic Four.
Yes.
Dan, did you enjoy the movie?
Yes.
Okay. What's with the hesitation?
This will be a long thing to explain. So,
okay.
Before we get into it, I want to preface this by saying I think it is an objectively good movie, unlike our podcast. Yeah. I think it is a good movie. And we can discuss this and maybe you can try and convince me, but there's just something about it that just did not grab me.
Okay.
So,
like you didn't enjoy the story? You didn't enjoy...
No, everything was good. There was nothing bad about it. It just...
Okay.
Maybe I was spoilt by watching Superman previously before it. And in comparison, I think Superman is a better movie and I enjoyed it significantly more. Like for me, Superman, I gave an 8 and it's like leaning towards a 9. It's like an 8.5.
Yeah.
I think this, I'm giving it like a 7 leaning towards a 6.
Interesting.
Because I don't know. I really cannot explain what specifically about it made me feel the way. I think it might just be still, even though it is one of the better Marvel movies recently, I think it is still Marvel fatigue. Because there's something very MCU-y about this type of movie compared to Superman being a lot more grounded, in my opinion. I think still, I'm just not feeling as much.
So I mean, we'll get fully into the movie, but I almost want to tackle this now. I saw both movies. I mean, we've discussed one of them. And I left leaving Fantastic Four going, I don't think it was as good as Superman, but I think it was close. I really enjoyed this movie, just slightly under the amount I enjoyed Superman, I think. My question for you is, this is an issue that I think I had where when I left Superman, I went, man, that was so cool. That was great. I am so excited for what is to come next because it's all new. It's James Gunn. And I'm digging everything he's doing. Yep. Whereas with this movie, I think like I really liked it. It's kind of its own world. There wasn't any connection to anything else.
Yep.
But then you sit here and go, but there will be a connection.
Yes.
Do you think that has an impact on your experience with the movie?
Not massively, no.
Okay.
I think it is a concern that when discussing it with our mutual friend Alan afterwards, I was like, yeah, I don't know, because from what I know, between now and Avengers Doomsday, there's one movie, which is the Spider-Man movie, which has seemingly no correlation to anything else because Spider-Man's done this whole thing where he's like, people have forgotten about him. He's living his own life now. So we're basically going from this to Doomsday, and they have to link this up with the mainline universe. And I just don't know how they're going to do that.
I don't either.
Convincingly well. Even if they link them up, because apparently, this is another spoiler, I didn't watch Thunderbolts, but apparently one of the end credit scenes is like the Fantastic Four ship flying to like the mainline world.
Yeah.
Which is like, okay, you can maybe explain that somehow. The issue I have with like possibly the build up to the next big Avengers movie is that with Endgame and Infinity War, we had all these characters that already for the most part knew each other in previous films. You had the previous Avengers films, you had the Captain America Civil War, which was basically an Avengers film. You even had stuff like Doctor Strange appearing in other films. You had like all these connections. This is the first time we're having like a big group of characters come into the mainline universe with knowing like nothing instantly. Like you could argue there was technically that with the Guardians coming in, but the Guardians knew Thanos, like because like Gamora, because like there's relations. This is like they're completely coming in fresh. They're coming from a completely different universe with different tech and understanding of the world, different like nations and everything. I am concerned about it, but no, to answer the previous question, I don't think it impacted my enjoyment of the movie.
Okay. Did you enjoy the story?
Yeah, I thought the story was good.
Okay. Did you enjoy the characterization?
Yeah, for the most part. I think the dynamic between the characters as they are was very good. Personally, I think I'm interested to hear your opinion. I think the weakest of the four was Reed by far.
I would agree more on the sense of I think he was a great Reed. There was very little Mr. Fantastic. Yeah. Which I think a lot of people go, well, it's a superhero movie. I want to see him do superpowery things. I'm kind of okay that we didn't get like a big show. I would have liked to see more like creative ways of him stretching, but we also got to see him just be a genius. And I feel like you don't get that in the other movies. Yeah. Like they do it to a degree, but like this man like he's just on a day creating teleportation. Yeah. I think that's done well. I think one thing, and like maybe this is a bad perception because of haven't read the comics so much and have only seen like the original movies. I feel like Reed needs to be a bit more arrogant about his intelligence. I feel like, I don't know if this is the way Pedro plays the character or it's written like this. I feel like he's, I don't know, it almost feels like he's like shy about his intelligence at times. Like, not shy, but like, I feel like Reed should, like, he feels smart, but he doesn't like, okay, let's compare this. Comparing Reed in this movie to Mr. Terrific in Superman, Mr. Terrific feels way more intelligent to me. And he shouldn't be, because Mr. Fantastic is like the smartest person in the MCU. I still felt like Reed felt very intelligent. He just wasn't like cocky about it or necessarily confident, because I think he's very intelligent. He just doesn't shove it in your face, which I actually kind of appreciated, because you get some like smart characters where like they're just an asshole because they're like, I'm smarter than you. I don't think Mr. Terrific was like that. I think he had the really good balance of like, I wish you guys were all as smart as me, not in a way of God, you're dumb, I hate you, but in the way of like, this would work so much better if you just had my intelligence and we could do better. But also I'm not necessarily going to like talk you down and belittle you unless you're like an asshole. Yeah, I could see that. I think from what I've like read and like watched some people online, the Fantastic Four, they all have their kind of general like core values that they tend to have. And then from there, personalities change. I would bet money that there is a Reed that is quite arrogant and kind of an asshole about it, but like not a whole lot. You know, maybe a little bit. I don't need him to be an asshole. I think it's like this. I think it's like the confidence more so. He feels like very understated. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you've watched the like 2005 and 2007 Fantastic Four. Yeah, I have. I rewatched the 2005 one recently. He's not super arrogant either. Like he feels like it's kind of like the unconfident nerd. It's maybe not that bad, but he does have that like, no, I'm super smart, but like, well, I don't want to talk up to you, you know? Like he kind of shrivels up. So I haven't rewatched his films, and I think I should.
because like I keep remembering seeing like the scene I remember with Reed that like for some reason with the old 2005 film like makes me like that version better is specifically the scene where he's like sitting at a couch in like a bar or club or something, has like 10 girls around him, and he's explaining this scientific phenomenon, and he makes his fingers go like really big. I think like that to me is like very, one, a great use of his powers, two, a great use of his intelligence, and like that confidence that I feel like this version's missing. But I guess the thing is, this version of Reed is already completely with Sue and like has a kid. That version, I guess, was when they were still like getting together or like early in the relationship.
It was like his bachelor party.
Yeah.
So they were getting married. I will also say it was a 2000 superhero movie, so it was just hornier.
Yeah. So this is my thing. Like I said, I haven't rewatched them in a while, but those two, I think, are maybe the first two superhero films I watched or close to the first two, and they hold a very special place in my heart. I really like those films from what I remember, even though I know like people say they're objectively bad. Podcast, AO. But if you watch the podcast, you know I like bad movies. I just have a thing for them. Like for example, I think like I said, I think this movie is objectively better than those other ones, but I think I enjoyed those more. I kind of like the 2005 campiness of it. I kind of like Johnny being a fuckboy. I think like I think this Johnny is maybe a better written character. I like Chris Evans's more just because I think it's funny. Just him being like just an absolute horn dog kind of asshole, like sort of like American high school football player type personality. I think it's just funny. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think so. The thing is as well, I did watch this movie with someone else and like absolutely no problem with it, but like there were points where I was like explaining things to them because I didn't understand like the thing as much. I probably wasn't as locked in as I needed to be watching it. It's like maybe a rewatch would make me appreciate it more. Possibly. But like, I don't know. I think I was talking about this with my friend as well. I think the first half of the movie I really liked. I think it falls apart in the second half a bit more. And I think that's where it lost me. Like the whole leading up until they get back to Earth after the space trip, I think it was great. The space sequence is fucking beautiful.
Space sequence is so good.
Using a neutron star to like wrap them around and lose the Silver Surfer in the universe and basically get slingshot back to Earth. So cool. Really, really sick. The whole scene with Galactus in space, really well done. Like talking to Shalabal, Johnny, like learning to understand her language and like find the backstory behind her. Really great. I think where the movie for me struggles are two main points. One, when they get back and Sue and the Fantastic Four tell everyone Thanos wanted to trade our kid for our planet. I think when that happens, everyone is understandably like sorry, I always call him Thanos for some reason. Galactus.
That's fine.
When Galactus asks for Franklin Richards, the kid, and the crowd's understandably like, you didn't give up your kid to save the universe and they're mad, or the Earth, and they're mad. That's good. I think they forgive them way too fast. Really easily. Like really easily.
Sue gives like a speech and they're like, you're right. Yeah.
She gives a speech.
For sure.
She gives a speech to like 300 people, and sure, there are reporters everywhere, but within like 2 days, the whole entire world has peacefully come together to construct this global effort on scales we've never seen before. I'm like, that felt very unrealistic to me.
Yeah.
Like, I know the Fantastic Four are this like global superhero team that everyone like loves and respects, but like, you're telling me out of the 7 billion or 6 billion people alive in that world at that point, there's not going to be a few of them that are like, why don't you just give up your kid?
Just give up one person.
Because the other thing as well, let me mention this. The other thing is that, and I may have misremembered, but I don't think I have, they don't actually mention that the reason why Galactus wants him is because of the heart of the universe thing. They literally just say, oh, he wants our kid. And if you don't know about the heart of the universe and the power, yes, I understand it's your kid. I think if I had a kid, I think I'd give them up to save 6 billion people.
Yeah, it's one of those things where like, logically have to do it. I mean, you kind of see it where Reed's kind of like, well, logically, this is like the thing that we should do, but also we can't do it. Yeah, and I understand why they don't do it for the story, for emotion's sake, for the fact that it's Franklin Richards, and if you know who he is in the comics, you understand why not. But like to a general public who knows nothing about
what Galactus looks like, what he wants, what Franklin Richards is. I'm sorry. A fucking 5-minute speech is not going to convince the world to suddenly forgive you. I just don't think that works.
It's a very optimistic and very trustworthy world, I guess. Yeah. I think what's interesting about the world, if I want to spin the good side of this, is, we get this kind of cool retro futurism, but it also, what's cool about this movie, and honestly to some degree the Superman movie, it feels kind of Silver Agey in the sense of like the comics, where like, I feel like a lot of modern comics, you get a little more of like, maybe not even political implications, but the like, well, you're doing all this saving, but like, you're tearing through a city and people are inherently going to die through that. Like, you got that a lot in a lot of like Civil War was about that. They're like, well, you have casualties when you fight people. Superman versus Batman, or Batman v Superman was like that. We kind of got a lot of a notes to realism and cynicism at the same time, where it's like, okay, well, we're being kind of cynical about this. Like, yeah, they're heroes, but they're also like fucking destroying worlds.
Yep.
And I like that both Superman and Fantastic Four have kind of taken that back, and they're like, no, these people just love superheroes. I mean, Superman takes place in the modern age. Fantastic Four, I want to say, is the 60s.
Yeah, I think so.
It actually doesn't specit. It could be that it's more of the future, but it just still feels like the 60s. Hard to say. But there is a part of it where it's like, for me, it's a comic book. They have magical powers that came from space radiation.
Yeah.
You can kind of fudge the lines a little bit. I do agree that it was like, they were like, that's terrible and I hate you and we're gonna hate you. And then they're like, hey, but like, what if you didn't? And they're like, yeah, you're right.
And then it's world peace instantly.
Let's do this.
I just think it would have been good. It didn't. I don't think it needs to impact the plot a ridiculous amount, but I just think it would have been nice if there was like some little side things where like, oh, not the entire world is happy with this decision. Having some like clips of like riots saying like sacrifice the child or something in the background while they're doing this other stuff. I think would have been good to see, just to show that like, yeah, some people aren't happy with this decision because, well, it's kind of illogical. Like, completely.
I think the problem story-wise is essentially if you throw that in there, then their plan doesn't work. And then it's like, you kind of can't do it with how they've set it up. The story could change and they could set it up differently, but like, it can be difficult if you have to then explain in depth. Another thing that a YouTuber named Cosmonaut, which I like watching his stuff because he tends to give more cynical reviews than I do, but he is well spoken and like I like a lot of the points he has. Made a comment where, and this actually might be where you had an off time with the movie, where he's like, it almost felt too perfect in the way of like, you can tell Marvel really knows they cannot fuck this up, because if they mess this movie up, that has had a lot of hype, that is like the potential to be the first. I mean, Thunderbolts was really good, but I don't know how like big or popular it got necessarily. It's a lot of B-team people. Like, this is a movie where they're like, if we do really well, we can be back. Like, we can kind of step back into this like, all right, we're hyped for Marvel movies. And I almost think it's too polished. Like, this is under 2 hours, which is not to say that that's bad, but like, I could have used 20 to 30 more minutes of just like kind of filler, because the world is really cool. And I like the dynamics between the team. And like, you can show me them fighting more people, or like, maybe they're having a conversation and mid-conversation, Reed is like stretching his arm around to keep working on something while he's talking to Sue, or like there's a lot of things that they do right in this movie. Yeah. And I kind of think that they cut things in order to like almost be too certain that it's like polished. Yeah. Like you said, an extra 20 or 30 minutes, we could have maybe explored a bit more of the underground with the Mole Man, because like that was a thing that was brought up a bit, but like not fully delved into. Like you said, just more scenes of them just like using their powers in like fun little ways would have been nice. I feel like Ben got a lot less scenes than like individual scenes than I thought he would have. And then like even just like I said, you could put in like those extra scenes of like just on the TV riots in some places saying about like, or like a bit longer, because like I don't know the actual time period, I'll have to look at it,
But the time period between when Sue says, "Oh, we don't want to sacrifice our baby," to "Oh, we're forgiving you," it's like 10 minutes or something. You could have stretched it out to like half an hour.
It's quick. You could have, or even like 20 minutes. Like you could have extended that to give a little more of the like world conflict. I also think to some degree they just didn't want to have that be a part of it, which then begs the question, scrap that. Like just have them come back and be like, Galactus is going to eat our world. And they like essentially lie about it.
Yeah.
Although I at the same time, I think it would be kind of weird if they lied about it. Cause like they feel like this very morally upright, morally good, like
I feel like maybe
60s characters.
I could see it being better written if they come back. They've obviously just had this terrifying news that, you know, Galactus wants to take the baby. Sue's just given birth. If that very first press conference they do right when they hop off the rocket, they do lie about it. They say, Galactus is coming. There's nothing we can do to stop him. And then they go home, discuss. And then after a few days, they come out with another press conference saying, this is actually what he told us, but we can't do it. And we're figuring out a plan to stop him. I think that would have felt more genuine.
Cool. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think going back to what you were saying earlier, I think that cosmonaut YouTuber you're talking about kind of describes how I feel about the movie. I think it's just very safe. It's just good, but it's not, it doesn't blow me away anyway. I feel like Superman, in comparison, there were things about it that like just felt like they were taking a few more risks. Like some of like
100%.
Some of the things in Superman, like Lex Luthor just like when in Superman where he just kills that guy that saved Superman, gave him like a kebab one day. That shocked me. I was not expecting him to just actually just fully kill him there. I was like, what the fuck? The whole like
great.
Monkeys typing on computers to slander Superman. That's kind of a fun thing to do out of pocket. There's so many things in Superman, like just any of the scenes of like Lex raging at the computer, yelling 1A, like all this stuff was like very like new and cool. And I feel like this Fantastic Four movie was just what I expected and nothing more.
Yeah. It did the trick, and that's about as far. Yeah.
Which is why I say agree. It's like, an objectively good movie, but it just didn't grab me in any way. It's like, that was great. I'm done now.
I would agree. It definitely does play it safe. I think it does things very well.
Yeah.
Like you said, like, you know, we have criticism against Reed, but like, I thought Pedro Pascal did really well. I was honestly kind of worried about it because he's just been in a lot of stuff right now, which it can be difficult to see him in a different character because it's you're like, oh, well, I'm just seeing The Mandalorian, or oh, I'm just seeing.
No, I didn't have that issue. I did think he was Reed Richards.
I didn't have that issue at all.
I think you could have better Reed Richards, but like I think you can have better anyone technically.
Sure.
There was a funny comment I saw from another YouTuber or on TikTok somewhere that they said that there's something about the way Vanessa Kirby looks that they just can't forget the fact that she's British. Which is a really funny comment.
You know, at one point she was when she first started speaking, I'm like, you should have a British accent. The character shouldn't like it, but I've seen her. It's also, they got a very well-known cast.
Yeah.
Vanessa Kirby's been in multiple things that I've seen, and she's been in multiple things that I haven't seen, and like very recognizable. Same with Pedro. And I'm like, kind of expect you to have a British accent, but you don't.
Yep.
The guy who played Human Torch, I don't know why his name has
Joseph
left me.
Quinn?
Joseph Quinn. The two main things that I'm aware of that he's been was the last season of Stranger Things and the Get Out, or not Get Out movie. The Quiet Place movie. It's the John Krasinski horror movie.
Yeah, Quiet Place Day One.
Spin-off. Yeah, it's the Quiet Place Day One. He's in that.
And Gladiator 2.
So like he has some fame. He's in Gladiator 2.
Apparently.
That's cool. He has some fame, but he's famous enough in the sense of he's been in a couple big things. And then I gotta look up his full name because it's Eben Moss Baccarat was in The Bear. So like the entire cast has been in like big things. I mean, obviously for Eben, like it's a lot of. I think it's a lot of his body is there and he's doing a lot of that.
But you don't know it's him.
Voice acting. I do know he was there because I've seen interviews where he talked about it and he's like, yeah, I'm just in like a gray suit.
Yeah, but like if you didn't like, I mean, you wouldn't be able to unless you knew his voice super well. You wouldn't like be able to know it's him. It's not like you're going to confuse
Not
him with his
necessarily.
character on the bear. That's not going to happen.
Yeah. I don't even remember where we were going with that. Yeah, kind of the famous cast is weird, but not bad. They did a lot better. And that's where it's also where we say it was really polished. They did good in that regard. We're like, all the characters are good. I think the characterizations of all of them were very good. Johnny is this really good combination of like, he is horny. He does talk about the sexy alien, but he's not 2000s horny where you look at it and you're like, look, it's kind of funny because you know it's harmless, but at the same time you're like, you couldn't do that in real life and not get hit.
Yeah.
Or at least not deserve to be hit. Whereas like, look, for the time it made sense. It was funny back then. Like there's no judgment against that, but it's like, I don't think you could necessarily do it now.
He's
it
less fuck boy and more hopeless romantic lover boy.
Yeah, which I'm also very here for. He's also smart. Like, I appreciate that all of them, this movie, they feel so fucking smart and so like powerful. Like each individual character, I'm like, they could take on. Like, obviously we see the least out of Reed's stretchiness, but he's like, they give you a montage of them fighting at the beginning. And I think that's really fun. Yeah, like I appreciate subtle world building, like with Superman, where they're like, here are all these villains. They have villains. I don't need to explain them to you. They're there. It's unimportant.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the characterizations are all really good, but yeah, they feel strong. Like they feel like they should be taking out like Galactus level threats like on the weekly. And that's because, going back to my comment on like it feeling like Silver Age, they kind of did that.
Yeah.
Like they would just be casually taken out. Like
I do think that
a Galactus and a
Johnny doesn't feel as strong as the previous iteration, the 2005-7 one, not the shitty Fan 4 stick.
We're skipping that one. I think you've seen it.
For me, it's purely just due to the way they do the VFX on him. I don't think there's a point where you see him go full flame on in the movie.
They definitely do the flames differently, which to some degree I kind of like, because there's a point where like he's flying and he saves a kid. Yeah. And I'm like, for a second I was like, that kid's gonna light on fire. But you notice his back is on fire, but his front isn't. And I was like, oh, that's really cool.
Which are nice uses. I don't know, it's just that his flame is like, I feel like in the 2005-7 movies, the like iconic flame on like bursting out was like felt very powerful, like a rocket going.
Yeah.
Whereas this one felt like a bit weaker to me. It's still good. It just is different, I guess.
I think that could also be the difference in CGI through the 2 years, because it was a lot easier to just be like back in 2005. Oh, his entire body is orange and on fire because it's hard to do the partial.
I kind of like that though.
Not to say it's a bad look. I like the look. I did rewatch the 2005 one. I didn't watch Rise of the Silver Surfer, but I watched 2005 one, and like the CGI on like Reed didn't look good. It was fine until you'd look at his face and you're like, that's an entire CGI body. Whereas like I think the Human Torch looks good in that movie.
Yeah.
I think he looks good in this. I think they kind of went for more of like like he has a lot more control over it.
Yeah, for sure.
So he can control the individual like flame. It's also, I don't know, in those movies, they just get their powers in the first one and are maybe have their powers for a year or two in the second.
Yeah, they're much more used to it at this point.
Whereas like these guys, this version, they are seasoned like vets.
Yeah.
Like they have done this. They have fought people. Like they're going to outer space to fight like a thing that can destroy planets, and they are so like casual about it.
Yeah.
Like and not even in a way where they're like completely out of their realm. They just are so smart. And all of them are like, even like they're all supposed to be smart because they're all astronauts. Mm-hmm. But like the thing is smart. It's not just like Reed's smart, everyone else is stupid.
Yeah, that is one thing I guess that this movie does a lot better than the originals, is that in the originals, obviously Reed's super intelligent. Ben is also like pretty smart, like for the most part. He's more like the engineer person, but he's still pretty smart. Stu is as well. In the originals, Johnny does feel like a dumbass. And you're always like, why is he an astronaut? Like, how did he do this? Whereas in this movie, like he literally translates into a fucking ancient language from another planet in a few days. Like that's ridiculous.
That's so cool. I think it might be longer than a few days, but yeah.
You know, a short
There's
period
a
of
big
time.
time jump, but less than a year he does it. In the 2005 one, at one point they make a comment like, I don't know how you're like, he was like, yeah, they had to kick me out of NASA because I kept bringing in babes. And it was like, you sit here and he doesn't show intelligence whatsoever throughout the entire movie. And you're like, you don't feel like you should have been in NASA. You feel like you were Sue Storm's little brother who kind of like leeched on, which is kind of what they gave. Where in this movie, they were like, no, all of these people like earn this.
Yep.
Like they should have been there.
Which is a nice touch.
Which is a nice touch.
Now,
for sure.
to get back to my second point that I think lost me with this movie a little bit.
Okay.
The final fight sequence.
Okay.
I am fully aware that the way you defeat Galactus is not by actually killing him. Like, at least not with this crew. Maybe with a full Avengers thing, you can like maybe fully kill him. But like, usually it's like,
even then it's hard.
You get rid of him for a while type of thing. So I was always expecting Galactus or the Earth to move or something. I just think the way it happened was like the most lackluster way they could have done it.
Yeah.
So obviously they started off this plot by setting up teleporters around the world to try and move the Earth somewhere else in the universe. I thought that was a cool idea. I thought initially it was going to be different dimension and that's how they get to like the other Earth for the MCU.
Me too.
That's what I thought where it was going, and it would make a lot more sense for the other movies, but oh well. But moving Earth to a different place in the solar system, sure, fine, whatever. Then obviously that plan goes out the window because Shalabal comes in and destroys every fucking teleporter on the planet within like a minute. Sick, cool. That plan's fucked now.
Yeah.
And then Galactus comes down. They come up with this plan. Oh, we'll push him into this portal. Okay. Galactus, being smart enough, seemingly, notices there's a red line on the ground that he shouldn't cross.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. It feels too easy because Galactus, being that ancient and powerful, I feel like he's too smart to get fooled by something so simple. And obviously he does catch it the first time and he doesn't actually fall for it. So that's good. But then like, I don't know. I do think the sequence leading up to it, like, you know, the baby getting captured, Reed and Johnny and the Thing going after it and like running through the city to stop Galactus. That's all cool and fine and everything. I think the showcase of Sue's powers to be able to push Galactus is very impressive. I just think the way of it ending of like, oh, we just sort of pushed him into this portal and he's gone now.
Kind of pushed him into it. Yeah.
It just felt like very lackluster to me.
It's interesting because Marvel has had movies where they don't actually defeat the villain. I think 3 out of 3 times this year, because Captain America Brave New World, which is like in comparison to the other 2 Marvel movies are like is way above. It was a fine movie, but it's not great. Like these are actually like, I'd say this is good, but that one is the new Captain America fights Red Hulk and he basically is like, calm down. Didn't defeat him physically. Thunderbolts, they didn't defeat him physically. They defeated him like mentally, essentially.
Because they're not beating Sentry. There's no chance.
No
chance.
Especially not that group of people.
No.
And then this one, they just get rid of it. I will say for Galactus and Sentry,
it does make sense.
It makes a lot of sense.
I just think the way it happened was kind of boring. I honestly think it would have been better if it like they did like the move the Earth plot. I think if they
I like the move the Earth plot. I thought that was fun.
I think if they rewrote it to the teleporters stay there, Shalabal doesn't destroy the teleporters because she doesn't want to, whatever, or she doesn't even know they're there. Because she's coming from outer space. How did she even know what they were and why is she destroying them? That's not really explained. If she went to went to the Fantastic Four headquarters first, spied on them, figured out, they're trying to do this, then destroyed them, fine. But she came to the planet and just started like in China destroying these things, not knowing where they were, not knowing what they were for.
Yeah.
That doesn't really make the most sense. They don't really explain that. And then I just think they could have rewritten it to where the big conflict was them trying to fight off Galactus somewhere on the planet, maybe even in space, to give the planet enough time to get ready to move.
Yeah.
I think moving the planet or moving the planet dimension is a way more interesting way to solve the problem than just moving Galactus, because it's like they moved Galactus, then the world's just like good now. And I think this does lead into like the Avengers Doomsday problem. I think it's like a bad way to solve the problem if we're trying to lead into that movie. I think if you do the move the Earth or move the dimension plot line, you can lead up to Doomsday really well, really easily. But with this, it's like,
yeah,
it just kind of feels like it's a bow, like a nice bow on the end of the movie. And then like, where the fuck do they go from there?
Well, I mean, it kind of brings back the point I make where like, to some degree, you're sitting here going, all right, this is part of a big MCU. How does this play into things? Because this movie is kind of centered on like, this is going to be really good. It's going to play into things.
Because Reed's meant to be like the next like Iron Man. He's meant to be the next captain of the Avengers.
Yeah.
How are we doing that?
I hope he doesn't actually join the Avengers and it's more of a like the Avengers are a thing and they team up with the Fantastic Four. Because that's just like, he's never in the Avengers. He probably was at some point. I'm sure you could pull some random comic issue up your asshole and like, there's one where he was in the Avengers. He's in the Fantastic Four. Like that is the group. I'm fine with them working with the Avengers. I think it's great. And obviously for like world ending things, it works. But yeah, I think when you watch this, there's that little back of your mind thing where you're like, okay, well, how is this going to play in? Which sucks because that's not what MCU movies should be about.
No.
Because this was a great solo contained movie. But with the mid-credits scene and just generally being in the MCU, you kind of have that little thought in the back of your head going, where does this go? Where does this lead us?
Yeah. Like,
it's also supposed to be introducing our new villain.
Yep. I'll give another example. Like one of my favorite MCU movies to this date is Thor Ragnarok. Obviously, it's the third in the Thor line, but it's pretty much a completely self-contained movie. And when you watch it, you're not like, oh, how does this fit into the next Avengers film? You're like, oh, that was a fun movie. Thor's cool. Hope I see him again. But with this, you're not like, oh, Fantastic Four was cool. Hope I see them again. It's like, oh, Fantastic Four was cool. How are we seeing them again? Where? When? What?
Because it's in a different universe. And you sit here and you go, again, the problem is the MCU spoiled too much where they're like, oh, well, all these people are going to be in Doomsday, which is in a year. So you go, okay, well, you've now given me a movie where they're not in the same universe. Now you need to explain, how they get to the universe. And now I'm sitting here thinking, it also doesn't help that the Thunderbolts end credits has this thing where they're like, oh my God, there's a message in space, or there's this reception from space or whatever. And it's a video of the Fantastic Four spaceship. And there's a little too much
this is one thing that end credit scene. This is one thing I do not fucking get at all. And it's going to piss me off if they don't answer it in the movie. So they're in a different universe. Fantastic Four and the mainline MCU, different universes, but they're both still on Earth. Why the fuck are they in a spaceship if they're trying to get to a different dimensional plane? Surely they just end up on Earth. I don't get it. Why are they in a spaceship?
I mean, I think it could be explained. I don't know if it will. I think it could be explained.
I definitely can
if essentially, if
they don't,
it'll
be annoying.
They fly off and they go into like a wormhole or
if
a black hole.
If that's what it is, fine. They just need to make that explicit. Because if they're just like, oh, we just showed up here and don't explain it, I'm going to be pissed because it makes no fucking sense.
I would be a little pissed because it's also not like, I don't know, they showed a giant spaceship. Like that thing is like skyscraper height. You can't just casually not have it in. I think that's the thing is like where there are also differences within the two movies, but where we have Superman, we go, this is a world that is only going to grow. It's not very big, but it all makes sense. And I don't leave having questions outside of, I want to see what happens next. This will be fun. This makes you sit here and go, how does this work? How are they going to do it? Like, it's almost the same question with different like tone of like, oh, how are they going to do this? How are they going to continue this? This is cool versus, okay, how are they going to do this?
Yeah. Like I think both movies are good, but Superman leaves you with excitement for what's to come. This leaves you with concern.
Yeah. Or even questions at like the best.
Because I'm not concerned about how it affects this movie. I'm concerned about how this movie affects the others.
Yeah.
And
because again, standalone, it's a great movie, but here's the deal. When you're over 20 movies in, you stop thinking about, like, you can't, it's hard to like set them apart as standalone, especially when the whole thing about the MCU is that it's all connected.
Yeah. And speaking about the next movie, let's talk about Doom.
Yeah, let's talk about that mid-credit scene, shall we?
So there are two big things I have about this that I don't get. First of all, obviously they can do a different story, but in the original movies, in the comics, Doom is usually like a part of their original like scientist astronaut group. He goes up with them, gets powers. In this movie, apart from a quick shot at like a UN meeting with Latveria, him missing, there's not a single mention of Victor Von Doom anywhere, which I think is a mistake because you're trying to build up this massive villain, and the only thing we know about him is that, okay, imagine you're coming into this movie with no prior knowledge of Fantastic Four. The only things you know about Doom is that we don't even know his name. It's not even mentioned. There's a guy in a green cloak at the end. That's literally it.
Yeah.
There's no mention of his name.
And his mask.
And
that he's holding perfectly for the camera,
of course.
Which is also stupid.
Like, there's no mention that Latveria is him. If you maybe think really hard, you can connect the dots, but there's no like, there's no real way to know. It would have been nice if like they had Latveria and like Victor Von Doom, his name under there to show like he's the representative of the country. None of that. There's no like, even if there's just like a newspaper article like, oh, 5 astronauts went to space and came back down.
Right.
It feels like, and again, I think it's probably because they have this whole fucking bullshit Robert Downey Jr. shit that they're like, I don't know what they're doing with Doom. It doesn't make any sense to me, and I really don't see how they don't fuck it up at this point.
I'm very curious because here's the deal. You sit here and you go, Thunderbolts was really good. Fantastic Four was pretty good. But at the same time, I agree. I don't see how they don't mess it up because I'm like, it's just not adding up and it feels too quick considering they have been the people who do this slow build. I'm fine if it's not a slow build. It doesn't have to be if done right. I mean, the Superman movie started arguably halfway through the story.
Yep. Because
the first half of the story is him fighting the Hammer of Baravia and him going to Baravia and Jahanpur and like settling their like there are things that have happened that could have been in a movie and already happened. So like you can give me not an incomplete movie because it is complete, but like you can give me a quicker like build up.
I just think a few more hints
but it
about
just doesn't feel right.
Victor's like character in the movie for people that don't, because like, if you come into it knowing who Victor Von Doom is, it's fine. You understand it. For people who don't know who he is, there's pretty much no hints whatsoever about like, oh, who's this random green mask dude at the end? And sure, maybe that's what they were going for. I don't think it's a smart way to go about it. Because like you don't even need to say like, oh, this guy is Victor. I generally just think like, because I think there's a flashback scene of like them getting down from the spaceship for the first time when they got their powers. Just put a fucking random dude. I mean, you'd have to put Robert Downey Jr., I guess, if that's the plan, which is maybe why they didn't do it. But like just something I feel like would have been nice.
I see what I think we're getting is I think in their universe there isn't a Doom. I think we're getting a multiversal Doom.
And he's just come to this universe to collect Franklin for the heart of the universe bullshit.
Yeah. Which I'm not terribly mad at that because it does make sense that he might be like, this is an incredibly powerful being. I am going to take this.
It's just annoying that, like,
especially if it's a multiversal Doom.
If it is a multiversal Doom, why, out of all the people he could be, why is it fucking RDJ?
And why did you tell us? Like, Marvel needs to stop telling us shit. I saw the first trailer for this movie, and then they kept putting trailers out. I have no idea how many. It felt like they put out 10. They didn't, but it felt like that. I watched the first one, and I was like, I'm just not going to watch another trailer because I feel like they spoil everything. I actually don't think they spoiled much. I think they kind of did like first 30 minutes is the only stuff that was in the trailer.
No, in the first trailer, you see Galactus walking through the city.
That is true.
You fully just see him.
Is like,
you just fully see him in the final scene.
They just show us everything. And I know it's that they're trying to build hype, but like you can build hype by not showing me.
Yeah. And like leaks will be inevitable. Like I'm sure the RDJ Doom thing would have got leaked. I think it did get leaked anyways. But like don't make it official. Like yes, they built that giant like video they put up like a year ago where they showed all the seats of the names of the people who'll be in Doomsday. sure, cool marketing thing, completely spoils like the whole movie. Like when Infinity War was coming out, I don't think we knew that Captain America was coming back. It was like a big shock when he came out of the shade and that train scene. Everyone was like, "Oh my god, he's back!" And like that was a huge moment.
I mean, we assumed he would be back, but we didn't know how.
Exactly.
Like, we didn't know anything.
I think if the RDJ thing was kept under wraps and he shows up as Doom, sure, a lot of people would be mad. But I think it would have been like an exciting hype moment. Like, what the fuck? Why is he RDJ? Yeah. But now we've known, like, by the time the movie comes out, we would have known for like 2 years. It's just not exciting anymore. There's like no hype about it. It's just like, oh, yep, it's him. Unless they do, and I'm hoping they do some sort of fake out. I'm really hoping it's like a complete just like misdirect from Marvel, because that's the only way I think it would be good. Like whether it's a misdirect, like, oh, the very common theory people say is like, oh, RDJ is going to be one version of Doom, but then the real Doom or the more powerful one comes and kills him and then continues. Yeah. I think another cool fake out could be that, and I was talking about this with Alana as well, and we think it could be, I wouldn't be shocked if this happens, because it would be like a very Marvel thing to do. You have RDJ come back as Iron Man, and you have the final fight be between Iron Man and Doom, and they both be played by Robert Downey Jr.
God, I hate that you said that, because that does sound like it would happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I do think, sadly, it goes against this movie that it's just so involved in the overarching story that you sit here and you're like, well, they didn't necessarily satisfy this. One thing that I saw an interview with the director of the Fantastic Four, and they were like, oh, like, did you, like, we heard that the Russo brothers were very directly, like, in control of the mid and end credit scene for, or I think the mid credit scene for the Thunderbolts. And he's like, were they involved? And he was like, yes, they were heavily involved. So I think what it is they basically went, make your Fantastic Four movie, give us a script. If there's any discrepancies, we'll make changes. But like for the most part, like they probably went, okay, we know what we want for the mid-credit scene. Franklin Richards in it. And they're like, cool, I can make a story with that. And then, so he probably had free reign over his story.
Yeah. This is, we talked about this last week. This is the same issue James Gunn had with working with Marvel. Like he'd make a movie and then they just put 100%. In some fuck ass end credit scene. He's like, I didn't want that.
And I think to some degree that's happened here, because I think the director is like, this is a standalone like movie. It's not connected to anything. It doesn't need to be connected to anything. And then they're like, we gotta connect it to something. I appreciated that James Gunn put 2 end credit scenes. That meant nothing. Like they were just fun.
Yep.
To be there's a part of me where I'm like, just stop having end credit scene, because there is the slight bit where you're like, well, I waited all this long. You gave me that.
Yeah, and it's happening in other movies now as well. I'll mention this next week when we talk about, because I watched the Mario movie and I'll mention it next week as well.
Yeah.
But I watched the Mario movie and there's a fucking end credit scene with Yoshi popping up like he's some fucking MCU villain. I was like, that's
my God.
It actually pissed me off so much. I was like, that is the stupidest shit. This is not a Marvel movie. You don't need to be doing this.
I think maybe the Sonic movie did it as well. They definitely did.
Oh, with Knuckles, I think, or Tails, yeah.
They did it with Tails in the first movie. It's just not
necessary. I feel like
it.
So I think there's two things they could have done. Obviously, I don't think they had enough time to do it, but I think to link the Fantastic Four movie to Doomsday, I think it would have been good to do 2 Fantastic Four movies. Do this one, then do another one, and then have that one link more. I just don't think there's enough time. I think you could have done like this Fantastic Four movie, the Galactus problem, sure. And then the next one, maybe they fight Doom in the next one. They're in Universe Doom.
Yes.
Defeat him, not kill him, but like defeat him. Then that Doom goes away, becomes like God Emperor Doom with his planet and all that bullshit. And then that much stronger version comes to the other universe, and then they all have to fight him because he's stupidly powerful now. I think that would be a much better way to do it. Gives you more time to build up towards it, give you more time to explain stuff. But no, it just feels kind of rushed again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It definitely feels rushed, especially when you put it in the context of the MCU. I think the movie itself doesn't necessarily feel as rushed to me.
No, the movie is fine.
I think you said it, and some people said it felt rushed towards the end. I do think, like I said, they could add a little bit more time and it would be fine. But I mean, I guess, we've been a little negative. We've been talking about the MCU. I kind of want to go back to some of the goods. The start of the movie like felt so good. Like they were setting up this world, and this world is really cool. They did a lot of practical things, which I appreciated. I liked the little montage of fighting people. You got to see all their powers. They all look really good. Like the CGI in this movie, I think looks quite good. I like the look of the Thing. Like I like that he kind of looks more comic like, where he has the like big eyebrows. I think it was fun that he grew a beard.
Yeah, that's funny. That's good.
Like they had a lot of comic-y stuff in this, which was the same comment I made about Superman. And I liked about this, it was comic-y.
Yeah.
They have all these toys and stuff. And
yeah, one thing I'll mention, I think we did a podcast episode start of the year talking about like the upcoming movies, and we were talking about Fantastic Four. And I mentioned I thought that the female Silver Surfer looked weird to me, like looked off. Not because it's a woman, I'm fucking, what's the word?
Because you're a terrible person, sexist.
Yeah, sexist.
Yeah, because you're a terrible person.
I just thought visually it looked off. I will say, in the movie, I didn't feel that way. I think it looked a lot better in the movie.
I think it looked great.
I think my main issue with her look, I think I still prefer the look of the other one. And the only reason is because I don't like the fact that she has like real eyes. I like the silver eyes more personally.
Yeah.
It just feels a little strange to me. But apart from that, it looks fine. That's like the only thing I have an issue with. I prefer like the completely silvered over eyes.
Sure.
Don't know.
But why. I think she looks really good. And I mean, honestly, I kept being like, man, she did this like really cool things, the Silver Surfer. I think the other one did too. Like, I think they did a weirdly really good job with the Silver Surfer. They did. Considering the original Galactus was a cloud.
Yes.
And that's stupid.
No,
that is one thing I will like also give is Galactus. I think in this movie is great. He's big. He's just like, yeah, no, I am this powerful.
I will mention a piece of criticism our friend had, word for word. He says, I quote, "I wish he was a little bigger."
Yeah, he did say that. We know what you were up to. We know what you wanted.
Yeah. Which would be fun.
Yeah, I think he can change sizes.
He can, yeah, for sure.
I don't know how like easily and quickly. It would have been cool to see that, but honestly, God, like we got a comic accurate Galactus, and he did some like kind of cosmic shit. He did some big guy shit. Like that's all I could ask for. It was cool.
Yeah,
I think they did Galactus very well. The guy who I don't know if it's necessarily voice acting, but like who was playing Galactus, I'm sure he did some movement. Was really cool.
His voice is really insane. Good. So
voice is insane. Yeah. This is a very random niche detail, but my coworkers have been talking about baseball, so I'm getting into it more this summer.
Okay.
So at certain points, you see the Thing wearing a blue hat that has a bee on it.
Yes.
Does this recall? He's kind of walking around outside.
Yep.
So at first I'm sitting here and I'm like, well, that doesn't make sense because he's like his origins. He's like he is from Brooklyn, and he says it in the movie. He's like, I am from Brooklyn. I grew up like 2 blocks that way.
Yep.
And I was like, now why in the hell would someone born and raised in Brooklyn wear a fucking Boston Red Sox hat?
Yep.
I'm all for it because I love the Reds, because I like the Red Sox. But I was sitting here, I was like, because the B on the hat is like the Red Sox. I'm like, that's insane. And then I forgot, you're aware of the LA Dodgers, is that correct?
Yes.
They have Ohtani and other such players. They used to be the Brooklyn Dodgers until 1959.
Oh.
And so if this is set in like the 60s, he still would have had a Brooklyn Dodgers hat.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a cool detail.
That is pretty cool.
Like he'd be a Dodgers fan because he would have grown up with them, and then they would have like left, like probably when he was an adult, and he'd still probably be a Dodgers fan.
Didn't know that. It's such a strange phenomenon to have a team move cities.
It happens multiple times in America.
Yeah.
Most teams don't.
That's an American thing.
Sometimes it is an American thing. Sometimes it's that the franchise itself is just not doing well enough, so someone else buys them out and moves them. Sometimes it's that they live in Oakland, and weirdly enough, Oakland sucks. and no one wants to be there. It just kind of happens. It's also like let's take soccer in England. There's like 50 different leagues. It's not that many, but
20.
There's a lot. No, there's 20 leagues.
Yes, there's the English football pyramid has 20 different divisions.
That's insane. So that's the thing. If you start going under,
but like
you just drop down in leagues.
I'll mention this, but like once you get to the 5th division, or maybe it's 6th, there's like 2 leagues in that. I think by the time you get to the 20th division, there's like 100 leagues in the 20th alone, and then they play. Yeah, because
it starts to like split.
Yeah. So there's like there's 20 tiers. There's probably like individual leagues. There's probably thousands.
Yeah. But like, if your team starts to suck, if you go bankrupt, you just kind of slowly start going down the ranks.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like, I don't know, if you're an NFL team and you lose money and you just can't keep being a team, or you can't keep being a team to the NFL standards, you're done, because there's no other league. It's technically other leagues, but they don't count.
Same in Australian like soccer. I mean, I think the dumbest thing you can do in a sport is not have relegation. It's a big problem in esports, both in League of Legends, Call of Duty. I think there's other ones as well. Not having like I think, maybe hot take, I think franchising is the single worst thing you can do to a sport. It absolutely kills any sort of competition and interest. I mean, like franchising in the sense of like franchising one league, buy in, no relegation. Because that happens a lot in esports, and it's fucking garbage.
I agree.
Quick little rant.
But anyways, I thought it was a cool little detail, because at first I'm sitting here going, I was almost stewing, because I was like, this motherfucker's wearing a Red Sox hat. That just doesn't make any sense. And then I was like, wait a second. It might be Brooklyn Dodgers. And then I was like, oh, that's really cool. Like, I thought that was a fun detail that was considered. Whereas, in the 2005 version, he wouldn't be wearing a Brooklyn Dodgers hat because it's set in the modern day of 2005. They were the Brooklyn Dodgers for like 40 years.
Yep.
So it doesn't make sense. But I liked that. That was cool. One other little note that I had was they were supposed to have John Malkovich in this movie to an unknown capacity. Were you aware of this?
No, I didn't hear about that.
I think he was like in at least one of the trailers. And he just wasn't.
Yeah.
I don't know why they cut him. They haven't talked about it, but people are talking because they're like, well, and that's the other thing is they put stuff in the trailers that they didn't put in the movie. Sometimes I'm okay with that in the sense of like, I don't know, if you want to show me deleted scenes that like it gives you the vibe of the movie, it gives you like the hype, but it doesn't spoil anything, or it like kind of fakes you out. Mm-hmm. I'm cool with that. Like there is I remember in the Infinity War trailer, you actually do see Captain America, I want to say. But they edit, like there's a scene where, they're all rushing towards one thing. The Hulk is in that. Whereas in Infinity War, he is never the Hulk except at the very beginning.
Yes. Also, I
like little fake out trailers.
I just looked up on Google John Malkovich Fantastic Four. So it said in his like actor credits, he is in it. But then according to the Fantastic Four director, it says why one villain was cut. Despite the actor's incredible performance, it was just too much material. So Red Ghost, apparently who he was playing, was just completely cut out.
Yeah. And that's why I'm like, I would have wanted to see this. Honestly, I would really love a director's cut where you give me an extra like 30 minutes, 45 minutes. And it's for the people that really enjoyed the film and they want to see some of the extra things. Like there was it was either in a trailer or there was like a deleted clip where like the Thing is on like a dating show. And that's just fun. Like that would be fun to see.
Yeah, and I mean, there is a clip.
I can understand why you cut it, but
there's a clip of Mr. Fantastic defeating a gorilla, which is one of Red Ghost's like things.
Yeah,
but they don't show Red Ghost at all, so it's just a random gorilla, which has no context.
It's weird. I think they even go, he defeated Red Ghost and his gorillas, and they just show him defeating gorillas, which is like whatever. Like I don't think that tainted the movie, but I would. Weirdly enough, I would love a director's cut of this movie. Because I like the like aesthetic and the vibe that's going on. So I do kind of want more of it.
The sad thing is, I don't think we get it again. I
don't think we do. I mean,
think
director's cuts don't really happen a whole lot
maybe
anymore.
we get like a 3-minute clip in Doomsday showing them on this Earth and how they get to the next place. But I think once they get to the New Earth, I don't think we see them again back on this one.
Yeah,
I
do think this is a one and done. What I will say is, you know, we have all these comments about like, how does it affect the MCU? How is it a part of it? I think in multiple years, and maybe even like next year, but in multiple years, once we've actually seen how that plays out, no matter how it plays out, I think I'll rewatch this movie and still really enjoy it because it is a self-contained movie.
Yeah.
And I almost think some of those questions of like, okay, well, how does this tie in is gone because I know.
Again, it's like, I don't think of Thor Ragnarok differently because of what happened in Infinity War and Endgame. Just doesn't matter.
Well, like I rewatched Winter Soldier recently, which is probably, weirdly enough, I think one of the best MCU movies so far, because it's a really good self-contained story, and you know it's a fun movie. There's stuff in that where they're like Shield is gone, and like so much stuff that honestly they kind of didn't really do. Like I think in Age of Ultron is the movie after the whole like, oh, Shield's not a thing anymore. And I feel like they only kind of touch on it, and then they're just like, eh. Like it's one thing I that the MCU kind of does is they put up a lot of stuff and they don't follow through necessarily. I mean, I also think the reason why we're here in this questionable state is it was gonna be Kang, and then they had to scrap Kang like entirely.
Well, I saw an interview. Apparently, even just after that movie, they pretty much scrapped him, even before the controversy.
Yeah.
Because they're like, we can't have this big villain get defeated by like fucking Ant-Man and then come back as a universal threat. Doesn't really make sense.
Yeah. Yeah. That movie was also terrible.
Feels weird. Last thing we can sort of, or if you have more, we can do it after, but if any of you know the app Letterboxd, it's a movie reviewing app. That if you've seen clips, there's so many clips of like actors being asked their top 4 favorite films, and then they go ahead and show them. One of our friends wrote a review of Fantastic Four First Steps. That's quite funny, so I kind of wanted to read it without his permission because I don't need it.
Yeah, you don't need it.
So here we go. Strap in. So I'll mention he gave it a 3 out of 5 stars, which is a 6 out of 10.
Yes.
So here's a review. Overall, quite good, but I have a few issues here and there. I was hoping to see Galactus change his size and generally have him be scarily big at some point, so that was kind of disappointing. Otherwise, he was pretty cool. Character powers could have been showcased more in my opinion, except Sue. We finally got to see how strong she actually is, which is pretty fantastic. On the other hand, I actually liked the character dynamics and how each person was written. The next issue I have comes in the 3rd act. It was too rushed and too easy, which is something we've kind of talked about. I don't know how I would have extended or fixed it, but I felt like something was missing, which I agree with. My last and biggest issue with the movie was the mid-credit scene. Why is Doom's mask already off? It's been a year since RDJ was cast and Doom, and it's still so stupid. But seeing his mask already off annoyed me beyond belief. He's iconic enough that his hood and the context of the scene would have signified that the person holding Franklin was Dr. Doom. And if introducing Doom to the MCU was their goal, they could have at least done one of those shots where he turns his head a bit so we could see half his face. Stupid, do better, Marvel, thumbs down. I would give this movie a 6.5 out of 10, but I can't do this on this app, so 3 out of 5 it is. I chose not to round up because of that fuck-ass mid-credit scene.
Yeah. Another comment to the whole like Doom having his mask off. Doom doesn't like taking his mask off because it can depend. Sometimes the mask is just fused to his face, but a lot of times he's just such a vainful person that he like doesn't like showing the scars and the disfiguration on his face, so he never takes it off. So him taking it off like kind of randomly is like
Yeah, and it's like, I guess you could argue, oh, it's to look at the baby, but if his face is scarred and mashed up, I feel like you wouldn't want to do that to look at a baby because it'd be scared of you.
I mean, also he can see, like there's eye holes. Like I don't know how much it could be obscuring his vision. I
don't mean it's obscuring his vision. I mean like when you're looking at a baby, like take it off so like a friendly face type thing. but his face isn't friendly, so it doesn't make
okay.
any sense why he would ever do that, because his face isn't friendly.
Yeah. It's also, it was just in a way where, you know, his back is, he's looking here, the camera's looking on his back, and he's holding the like mask like perfectly for the camera, so you can be like, that's the Doom mask. And it's like, well,
yeah,
that was all fan service, not
just kind of dumb.
I agree that it was
I honestly think just cutting that entire scene would have made it a lot better.
Yeah, I'm slightly tired of the Marvel end credit scene that like gives you the next piece of the puzzle. But because here's the thing, we know Doom is the next piece of the puzzle.
It's
you don't need to like
fucking Doomsday. Like
it's called Doomsday, and you've been talking about having Doom the entire time. You don't need this end credit scene because it also doesn't answer any questions.
No.
Because I want to know how they get there, and this just goes, oh yeah, Doom's interested in Franklin, and it's like.
I honestly think it would have been better if, like, the end credit scene is Doom taking Franklin and teleporting away, because then it'd be like, oh fuck, they have to chase after him now. How are they going to do that? Doomsday, the movie. It makes sense why they have a reason to go there now. Currently, as of this movie ending, and I know, I agree, I don't think the movie should have to have a reason to tie in, but because that's what Marvel wants to do, they need to justify it. And currently, the way the movie ends, there is absolutely zero justification for why they would ever go to a different universe, dimension, whatever. There's no need. They
don't have a reason right now.
They got Galactus away. He's seemingly not a threat for a long time. Like, it doesn't make sense. If you have the end credit scene of Doom taking Franklin and teleporting, sure, then you can explain it. But they don't do that. He's just sort of looking at him.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like, if you want to have it to where you're teasing this new movie, do it good. We know Doom was going to be there.
Exactly. Or like, honestly, I think it would have been better if the end credit scene was from the other universe and it showed Doom there or something. I think that would make more sense as well.
I mean, that's what they did in the Avengers end credits, is they're just kind of like, hey, look, here's Thanos. He's not doing anything, but he's there.
Yeah.
That would have been fine. We're also just at such an accelerated rate, and there's so much marketing that, like, again, we know Doom's coming. You don't need to tease him. You've told us. Yep. You've told us out of movie. It's another issue where, like, Marvel does so much marketing and, like, hype outside of the movie that giving me hype within the movie almost pisses me off, because I'm like, just give me a good, just give me not that, again, we've been talking a lot of shit. I thought it was a good movie, but like, if you want to do all your marketing outside the movie, don't do it in the movie too.
Yep.
Unless it makes sense.
The last comment I'll make on Doom, and this is just a general thing that I don't really understand what they're going to do with it, is obviously, let's assume Robert Downey Jr. is Doom. He's the main Doom. He's the one playing him, whatever. Is he going to be Victor Von Doom, or is it going to somehow be Tony Stark Doom? That's what I don't really get.
I don't know.
Because obviously, Doom comes from his name. Like, that's his real name. So it makes sense to be that way. But I don't really know how you justify it, because like we've seen, obviously because it's live action, you need different actors to play different versions of characters for the most part. Like, you have Andrew Garfield, Spider-Man, you have Tobey Maguire, and Tom Holland. But like, logically, it would make sense if all the different universes, the same people would be the same people. That would like make sense, at least. So why the fuck is Robert Downey Jr. playing him? Don't know. If it's a Tony Stark version of Doom, I mean, that could be interesting in its own way, somehow. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't even want to say I'm cautiously optimistic about the MCU. I think I'm just cautious.
Yep.
I want them to do well, obviously, because that means I get to watch cool stuff. But I think when I left the Thunderbolts, I was like, this is an MCU movie that it feels like an MCU movie, but this was quite good. I really enjoyed it. This was almost like, this was a really good movie, but it's not MCU. So I'm almost annoyed that it's in it, because I know I won't get it again.
Yep.
And it leaves me with more questions, but not like, oh my God, I got to see what happens. What's happening? Or it's more like, okay, but how are we going to do this? Because this doesn't make sense. I will also say I'm such a fucking comic book nerd. Like I was talking to a coworker, he saw Superman, and he was like, I can understand how someone would like this, but I just didn't. He was like, I kind of wanted the explanation of all the other characters in the movie. And like, he gave a bunch of reasons. I'm like, that's all very valid. It didn't apply to me.
See, that's something I don't get, because I was explaining this to my friend as well. Like, I think with the Superman thing of like explaining the characters, if you watch, I think it was maybe on the podcast I said this, if you have like a generic action movie, you don't need to explain the backstory of every character that's like in there. It's not really a necessary thing you have to do. So why do we need to do it for a superhero film? Sure, like doing it for Superman makes sense. Doing it for Lex a little bit makes sense. But like, I don't need the full backstory on Hawk Girl. She's just a cool character that has powers and helps.
Cool character that has powers. I think to some degree we've been, I don't know if spoiled is the right word, but I'm going to go with it, spoiled with a bunch of movies that they give you the origin of every single character. Like a lot of the Marvel movies were like that, where they'd slowly build up over time, and it was fun because it was like origin of one hero, origin of one villain, movie, origin of another hero, origin of another villain, movie. And they don't do that in this, which I like. They just go, they give you a short little montage and they go, this is the Fantastic Four. They got their powers. I'm not going to go into detail because you probably know it. And if you don't, you'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And I felt the same way with Superman.
Same thing happened with the Batman as well, like the recent one. That doesn't really have an origin story massively.
Yeah. And I think it's great. I like that we're, I think to some degree, starting to leave the realm of origin stories, because I think a lot of times, I don't know, it's just like time that I feel like is almost wasted, because I don't care about the like, oh my god, they just got their powers and they're learning how to use them montage. Like, it's done so many times and I'm like, I kind of just want to see these people use their powers.
Yeah,
like, I don't want the first 30 minutes where they're just people and they're not that interesting and they're getting their powers. If
their backstory is super integral to the character, you can reference it. Like, it's done perfectly in Superman, where there's a message from his parents and a short thing about like him landing on Earth, and like the message from his parents is what, you know, made him a good person, but then obviously it was, you know, spoilers, wrong or whatever. That's fine. You can do it with Fantastic Four as well, where like you have that short flashbacks, like they were just astronauts, got hit with cosmic radiation, and now they're superheroes. But you don't need the whole entire thing of like, oh, them learning to use their powers. It's kind of unnecessary for like a lot of different people. I think for some characters, like I think maybe one of my favorite examples of an origin story that was done well and probably necessary is Doctor Strange. I think that one's done really well, because like, why else would some random like doctor suddenly learn magic? His hands like broke, he had a disease, couldn't use them anymore, had to find a way to fix them, went to great lengths, ended up with that. That's cool. You don't really need it for Fantastic Four massively. You don't really need it for Superman massively.
You don't need it for Batman. You don't need it for Spider-Man. Like any of the popular ones as well. It's like, don't give me an origin story if someone else has already given it to me, because I know you're not going to change it that much. Because a lot of their origin stories are also incredibly iconic too.
Yeah.
I don't need to see Superman growing up in Kansas. I know he grew up in Kansas. Show me him fighting people. And I appreciate that we got 2 movies in the same month that has done that. They did that. They were very like aesthetically pleasing movies in their own way. Like they had a certain aesthetic to them rather than just like action movie.
Yep.
They felt like they actually had an audience rather than, all right, this just has to make $1 billion at the box office. Let's send it to China. Let's send it to Russia. You know, let's just make our money. Like, they felt like individual movies, which is such a low bar. But here we are.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I look, we talked a lot of negative. It's just easier to talk the negatives. I still really enjoyed it. I think when you put it in the overarching realm of the MCU, there's some questions to it, but overall, I think it was a good movie.
Yeah. I agree. I think a rewatch for me would definitely help. I think I probably just is a 7 for me. I probably wouldn't go much lower or higher. Maybe rewatch would put it up to like a 7.5 or something.
I'd maybe put it more towards 7.5 to 8 for me.
It just, again, objectively nothing wrong with it. Good movie. It just didn't grab me. I think it's just MCU fatigue, or like Marvel movie fatigue. To me,
I think there is a little bit.
There's a certain like style, like how those movies are done. That just was a bit like meh.
Yeah. Separate question, kind of going into the DC, because like we've said, there's not a whole lot that seems to be coming up on the Marvel slate. Like, I think it's all next year.
Yep.
I don't know what else they're putting out this year, if at all. But DC is kind of exciting. Did you ever watch the first season of Peacemaker?
No, I do want to, though.
I highly recommend it. Did you watch the Suicide Squad movie that James Gunn made?
You've asked me this 20 times, yes.
Okay, cool. I get it mixed up because some people have, some people haven't. I don't know about you, but like I went into that and I was like, oh, this was really good. Like I really enjoyed this. It's great characters. This is fantastic. I just can't see Peacemaker having his own show or like his own movie. Dude, I watched it. It was so good. It's really funny. Like,
according to James Gunn, Peacemaker's meant to be like one of the big players in the DCU, which like is so funny to me because like he's just a. Does he have powers or is he just a dude with a helmet?
He doesn't have powers. He has helmets that have powers, but it's kind of comedic in the sense of he doesn't necessarily use them a whole lot. He's kind of like the marksman assassin type.
Yeah.
Where he's just like a heavily trained soldier. But it's really funny. It's good. It's like it has a very solid cast. It also, what I like about it that, again, you don't necessarily get from the MCU is like it's not as important of a story, but you get this fun world building. Like the world feels full. Mm-hmm. Or it feels like it's adding to it without necessarily adding stories. It's just adding like, you know, they have little comments about superheroes where like, I think he goes to like a local school because he's a local superhero and he's talking to them and they're like, have you met the Flash? And he's like, yeah, the Flash is a dick. I hate that guy. And, you know, he makes jokes about superheroes because that's like what would happen in the world where there's a ton of superheroes.
Yep.
But you should watch that. But Peacemaker season 2 is coming out in like a month, and I am excited. James Gunn has said that Peacemaker is his favorite thing he's worked on, which is really funny.
He also said it will like that this season of Peacemaker will show the direction of the DCU and like the big bad conflict. Which is again,
I actually hadn't heard that. That sounds cool.
Yeah, he said like once you watch Peacemaker season 2, you'll understand where the DCU is going.
Interesting.
Which is so funny for a show about John Cena fucking around in like a costume.
Yeah, about like a Z-list character, because he's not even B or C-list. He's like a random character that was in like a Suicide Squad like issue, you know? Like he's so random and stupid. But I like that James Gunn has found like weird random characters and made them popular and made them fun. Like there is content there that you can get. But Peacemaker's coming out. DCU has a bunch on the slate. Yeah, I'm excited for Peacemaker. And I think that's about it for us, Dan.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Thanks for listening to us rant. Leave your comments about the Fantastic Four. What'd you think? Did you think it was a 6 out of 10? Did you think it was a 10 out of 10? Think it was a 1 out of 10? Did you watch the movie? Did you rate the movie before or after you watched the movie? That can make a difference sometimes. It'd also be weird if you rated it before.
There are definitely people that do that, though. 100% there are people that do that, sadly.
Sure. Oh, happens
a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we'll be back next week with, as long as things go to plan, a video game episode about Mario vs. Sonic. So,
oh, yeah.
That'll be fun. And then hopefully after that, we'll have another episode that's not completely topical. So if you haven't watched the movie, you're not going to get spoiled on it or whatever.
Yes. Honestly, we're slightly planning on doing something different, and then it just turned out that we watched both movies and we're like, we could talk about this for an entire episode. So we did. But we will be changing that around if you're getting tired of us.
Yeah, so subscribe if you haven't, keep tuning in, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.